if this isn't a consensus pick, then I'll tell you something right now. Both of you guys are wrong because there's only one true pick. This person was ranked 17th in his position in preseason rankings. 17th. And what did he finish as? He finished number 1. He's having a historic season. There is no other person. Biggest surprise of the year. His cup runneth over. Cooper Kupp, the man himself. He has been incredible all year. Incredible all year. I see CJ making that face. You knew that he was going to have a historic year? 17th ranking?
You know who's making history right now? A guy named Jamar Chase. Did you think that he was going to have this good of a year? Did you? Were you sitting there preseason saying Joe Burrow is going to tear it up with Jamar Chase?
What LSU boys? We already saw what Justin Jefferson did. What are you talking about? Jamar Chase? Yeah.
Hold on. Average draft position is a really good tell of what people thought people were going to do during the before fantasy football started, all the preseason, everything like that. Okay. Jamar Chase, average draft position, 76. Cooper Kupp, 30 points higher, 46. Who's the bigger surprise there?
Cooper Kupp, because he's
Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase by 3 rounds. Jamar Chase by 3 rounds. The best thing to ask Woody is, all right, let's just say you drafted both of these guys way too high, right? Like you second round, you're like super high on. You knew something that nobody else knew. You take Cooper Kupp in the second round. You're going to take way more heat before week 1 for taking Jamar Chase second round than you would have if you took Cooper Kupp. Way more. Because you could make that argument. You could make that argument that Gaddy is just preaching on. Like, it's Stafford came in, stronger QB. You go in with Woods, another receiver, like to take a little bit of pressure off. One of those guys, like he said, was going to take off with Stafford, and it happened to be Kupp. Now, Woods getting injured, if you say that didn't benefit Kupp's production, that's just wildly inaccurate. I mean, Van Jefferson was the second best receiver on that team with 771 yards. You had 2 other receivers on the Cincinnati Bengals that Tyler Boyd, people forget, he's got 820 something yards too. I mean, if he has a big game next week, they could have 3 1,000-yard receivers on that team. Like, that's ridiculous. And Jamar Chase being able to have the season that he had with the teammates who were taking away some of those looks. Could you imagine if T. Higgins got hurt and he didn't have another person to throw the ball to? The amount of targets that he would have seen if he saw 2-3 more targets per game from Burrows, he would have his cup would have runneth over more than Cooper Kupp's.
What does that have to do with the surprise? We're not talking about
how about
got here. I'm talking about
how about you
them to be and where they currently are. Cooper Kupp is number 1.
So Jamar Chase going from 76 to 3. Right, 76 pre-draft ADP to being ranked the 3rd overall scoring receiver in fantasy, from Cooper Kupp to 46 to 1. The bigger change is Jamar Chase, just by plus
by ADP, but Cooper Kupp outscored.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the bigger surprise.
Yeah,
here.
but we're also talking about the numbers in which they actually produced. Like Cooper Kupp, right. The margin that Cooper Kupp is far and ahead, the number 1 wide receiver.
Jamar Chase was only like 50 fantasy points behind Cooper Kupp. How is that? Listen, for a rookie who was dropping passes, who was literally taken in between the 7th and 8th round of drafts, compared to Cooper Kupp, who was still taken round 4, right? So he's still coming. He's still probably, at the very least, your number 2 receiver.
The Bengals are definitely the biggest surprise. Like in the actual NFL, I don't think anyone could argue that there's a bigger surprise. Like the Bengals.
Bingo. No, keep going, because you're about to make my point. Keep going. I'm not interrupting. Keep going.
I'm just saying they had an historic season, but don't let the team success blind you.
What is a big driver of that team's success? It is the performance of Jamar Chase. Whereas when Matt Stafford went to the Rams, you gave them the championship almost. So you knew that they were going to be balling out there. When Matt Stafford went to the Rams, you anointed them instantly. So you expected more production out of their guys.
Not for Cooper Kupp.
But Matt Stafford going there means that things are going to be better for the receivers. Yeah, no, look, it cannot be denied that Cooper Kupp is definitely a surprise. I personally, and CJ agrees, don't think it can be argued that his production was more surprising than Jamar Chase. And the beautiful thing about the Sportscast world is we get to hear what you guys think about this topic. But CJ,
let me give you one. I got to give you one last point on this because I just looked it up as the stat guy had to, right? So since fantasy football began, right? Okay. Yeah. The most fantasy points in a game by a wide receiver, Jamar Chase's game, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 receptions, was the 7th highest ever. Cooper Kupp's not on that list. Just FYI, for the record. So you want to talk about surprise? Ho!